The late night weather report, proudly presented to the Riverland by Hickson Betson, Loxton and Berry.
Hello everyone, fairly drizzly old start today, but find out by this afternoon we had almost 6 millimetres of rain overnight, the maximum 15.8 degrees at 4, the overnight low 9.5 degrees at 4:45 this morning. And as you can see on the satellite photograph, most of South Australia is cloud-free. It's very sunny and warm in the north, so that's probably the best place to be this time of the year. Large areas of stratocumulus cloud associated with the high and the bight and producing just light showers on the southern coast and also about the ranges. On the surface chart, you can see the high, it's directing us southwesterly over South Australia, tending more southeasterly northerly, consequently the warmer conditions, and it will remain like this for the next few days with very little movement of this high, the winds remaining in that southwesterly pattern. In fact, we're now back into that pattern of showers overnight and at first in the morning, fine and sunny in the afternoon before clouding over again. So there you go, the old winter pattern. Across the border for tomorrow, some early drizzle down in Melbourne, but elsewhere it's going to be fine right around the continent with maxima ranging from that 13 degrees in Hobart up to 30 degrees up in Darwin. Wouldn't mind being there. Here at home in South Australia, we had light showers and drizzle on the southern and also the central parts of South Australia. 5 millimetres was the highest rain gauging in the 6 hours to 3 o'clock. That was at Adelaide Airport, and the maximum range from 13 degrees down at Narracourt and at Mount Gambier up to 20 degrees at Maree. And overnight, the coldest spots were at Marla and Cook, where they dropped down to -2 degrees. Now the state forecast for tonight and for tomorrow, it'll be cool with showers contracting to the southern coast and ranges, fine in the north with local overnight fogs and frosts, light to moderate southwest to southeasterly winds and mainly slight seas. For the country centres, Broken Hill 17 with cloudy periods, Victor Harbour 15, Mount Gambier 13 and Murray Bridge 17. And for the local waters, southwest to southerly winds at 7 to 12 knots and the seas will be smooth to slight. The tides 2 metres at 6:12 tomorrow morning and 2.9 around 6 tomorrow night. Well, at 6 o'clock it was 13 degrees and the barometric pressure was 1031.6 and it was rising, the humidity 79%. Overnight another cold one, 8 degrees. Tomorrow it will be cool with cloudy periods and a light shower or two, but chiefly overnight, then at first tomorrow, and we'll have light southwest to southerlies and a top of 16 degrees. And the outlook for Monday, more of the same, cool and mainly fine, and looks as if conditions will remain this way well into the week. Hope you enjoy your Sunday. See you tomorrow night.
The late night weather report, proudly presented to the Riverland by Hickson Betson, Loxton and Berry.
Tonight's epilogue is presented by Ian Bruce from the Anglican Church in Waikerie.
Good evening. Jesus was asked to summarise the law, and he did it in this way, that we should love God and to love our neighbour as ourselves. Jesus didn't mean by that loving yourself to be that obnoxious sort of love, you know, where you get a great big head the size of a watermelon. Didn't mean that at all. We all know people like that, and it's a bit sickening, really. Jesus was really talking about to have self-respect and self-acceptance. That sort of love. Many people don't have that sort of love for themselves. They find it really hard to accept themselves and to respect themselves. There's a tremendous amount of pressure today encouraging us to be somebody else rather than ourselves. People are in bondage as they go on this merry-go-round of trying to achieve things to be somebody that they're not. How self-destructive it is. How much illness often results from this sort of image of not being happy with ourselves and desiring to be somebody else. Jesus said, love your neighbour as yourself. We try to love our neighbour, but if we have no self-love, it's impossibility to try to love our neighbour. Accept yourself just as God accepts you for who you are and what you are. Discover that real love of yourself, the love that God has for you. And in doing that, allow God to mould you and to use you, because it's only when we really accept ourselves that God can use us to love our neighbour. Good night and God bless you.
5A is now closing transmission for this evening. We do look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We open at 11 with an hour with Jimmy Swaggart. Then you'll see a Music Express Extra, Get Smart and Batman. And remember, there's comedy movie viewing for you tomorrow night, 8:30. Chevy Chase, National Lampoon's Vacation. Until we see you tomorrow from us all here at 5A. Good night.
Yeah.